Tonight on Scrappy Time, I'm talking to my good friend and former campaign manager, Nathan Higdon, about LGBTQ issues in Tennessee and the Slate of Hate in Nashville, which I hate and will vote against. In the meantime, gotta pick up some wood old Indy knocked over trying to chase a mouse. Stick around.
I watch the sun fall from a rock outcrop. The moon slowly rose and the valley filled with fog. And then I heard a commotion on the trail down below. Carbide lights were coming up the mountain, and they were led by Mother Jones singing, "Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on?" I never wanted to leave the top of a mountain, 'cause Lord knows I love to get high. I never wanted to leave the top of a mountain unless I was headed to the by and by, to that mountain in the sky, the sweet by and by.
Hey everybody, welcome to Rockford in the back porch. It's a beautiful day outside. Indy's gonna hang out and have a conversation with us. The Vols are 2-0, and Bubba Wallace is gonna win at Talladega today. So it's a good one. I'm sitting here with my good friend and former campaign manager, not because I had to fire him, Nathan Higdon. How you doing, Nathan?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
So since you're not working on my campaign directly at the moment, tell us what you are doing.
So I'm managing Jane George. She's running in State Senate District 6 in Knoxville.
Awesome. And how's that campaign going?
Going great. It's different. It's a lot bigger area. And it includes parts of 6 different state house districts in her state Senate district.
Wow. So that's a lot of area to cover and keep you busy.
It's huge.
Well, good. Well, we appreciate you keeping the good work to make some changes in the state, and that's why we want to sit and talk to you a little bit today. First of all, tell us real briefly what got you interested in politics, because that's how we met each other really, or got to talk to each other about politics for the first time, I guess, in 2017, January 2017.
So I ran for Maryville City Council back in 2012, and I've always been a bit of what I like to say a community activist. And so I really got involved, just like most other folks, after the election in 2016. I got involved in the way that I am now. And stepped up to run for the county party, and then it's just been running ever since.
So today we're going to talk about LGBTQ issues. And I know you are on the board or chair of the Knox Pride, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, treasurer of Knox Pride on the executive committee.
And so you've been active in those issues for a number of years. Tell us a little bit about how difficult it is in Tennessee and how frustrating it is in Tennessee for that community.
In East Tennessee, it's difficult, Jay, for the community because so often our legislators either completely ignore our community or will try to silo us. Like the issues that affect the LGBTQ plus community aren't the same things that affect everyone else. And that in and of itself is a problem. When we get siloed, we get ridiculous bills with the Slate of Hate and adoption issues or trans bathroom bills. And then we get ignored when it comes to the fact that the LGBTQ plus community is just like everyone else in East Tennessee. We pay our taxes and we're ill represented in the state legislature.
At all levels of government.
At all levels of government.
Absolutely. And so when you say Slate of Hate, just for the folks that may not know what we mean by that, there's a series of bills that come out each year, or when bills are filed, I should say, that are very anti-LGBTQ community. Yeah. And whether it's saying where transgender folks should have to go to the bathroom, or whether they can play sports. There's been attacks on marriage, even though it's already gone through the Supreme Court. Tennessee still keeps trying to redefine it. So that's what we mean by slate of hate, correct?
Yeah, the Slate of Hate, it's this forever attempt of the Tennessee General Assembly to try to punt marriage equality back to the Supreme Court to get it voted on. The same kind of things they want to do with Roe versus Wade and so many other hyper-conservative bills that they attempt to get passed, or legislation that they actually do get passed. But the Slate of Hate this year brought us that state-funded adoption agencies. This, again, is our tax dollars going to adoption agencies are allowed to discriminate against members of the LGBTQ plus community, which is ridiculous, in my opinion, when it comes to state tax dollars.
Exactly, and I know numerous couples, LGBTQ couples, that have kids and have adopted kids and just absolutely are the best parents ever. And I also have plenty of friends that have been married for as many as, I guess, 35 years. We've been in that kind of relationship. And how hard is it to be marginalized like that? I mean, not only just personally, but do you feel like you're represented at all?
In the General Assembly, no, not really at all, because it's incredibly partisan. The Democrats in Nashville always try to vote against it, but when we have the trifecta of the supermajority of conservative Republicans in Nashville, and then folks like Governor Lee, who don't seem to care about anyone except rich white people, then rich white straight people, let me be real clear here. And it's a problem for the community because we keep getting these bills coming up, and instead of passing stuff that can actually bring forward equality and equity to all people in the state, we have to fight every year. We have to waste all this time to fight down ridiculous legislation. There are so many groups in Nashville and here in Knoxville and even beginning in Blount County who spend their January through April during the state legislative cycle trying to fight against the Slate of Hate. So no, we're not particularly well represented. We've got some great advocates like our friend Gloria Johnson in Knoxville who, will stand quite tall and speak up against all this stuff. But there are not enough people there. They're just fighting for these bills that discriminate against folks. And I say this speaking from a position of privilege as a white man. Like, there are very few ways in which they beat me down, and this is one of them, but I understand that in my community, there are so many black and brown people, black and brown trans people. Black trans women are killed at a rate that's astronomical for their representation in society. And these are problems that we have even in our own community. And we don't have legislators that care enough to actually understand what everyone in their community looks like, believes, understands, feels, what their perspective is in the world. Not to belabor a topic, but this is obviously very personal to me.
So one of the bills that perhaps are on the Slate of Hate that people have potentially heard of is the transgender bathroom bill. Yeah. And so what the bathroom bill essentially says, and this is not just in Tennessee where this has been happening, it's kind of been a movement that's pushed by the far right, and that if a trans man needs to use the bathroom, the law that they're trying to pass says he should use the women's bathroom. My question is the same one that I gave to someone that's very close to me that I introduced to a trans man. They did not know it was a trans man. Has facial hair. And this is a woman that's a friend of mine. And I said, you know, so this bathroom bill, you do realize that if they pass it, he is going to be using your bathroom because they made it a state law. And it freaked her out. She's like, he has a beard. Yeah, I'm like, I know. He's a trans man. I mean, explain to people a little bit about that, because I think there's a ton of misunderstanding about what it really means to be a trans man or a trans woman.
You know, there's no evidence that gender-segregated bathrooms are safer than unisex bathrooms. And there are already laws in place that prohibit inappropriate behavior in bathrooms, Jay.
So if someone, you know, is up to no good, they're up to no good.
Yeah.
If you're a trans man and need to go to the bathroom and you have facial hair, our state legislature is trying to pass a bill that says you're supposed to go into the women's bathroom. And I know a lot of women that aren't going to be very comfortable with that.
Well, and I know a number of trans folks who aren't going to be comfortable with that either.
And that's the point, and that's really important. And so this issue is really important because as a representative, I'm supposed to represent everybody. And it doesn't matter who you love, who you marry, where you go to church, whether you go to church. You know, I'm supposed to go to Nashville and try to represent the people of District 8. And I want to make sure that the LGBTQ community knows that I'm not discriminatory against them and that I will be a champion for them. And I know you are a champion for that community and you're involved in it in a different way. But it's important that we educate all Tennesseans to respect everyone.
Do you know, Jay, it's something Maya Angelou said, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. And that's, I think, what the community wants out of legislators in Nashville, is we're telling you, you know better now, so do better.
Well, I really appreciate you being out here today, and thank you for all your grassroots efforts, not only in campaigns, but also in your efforts in the LGBTQ community. And I know you have my phone number, so you know how to get a hold of me if we need to talk about something.
I am not afraid to call you when I need something.
Well, that's good. Nathan's going to stick around and watch a race with me today. They're at Talladega. Go Bubba.
Right there in my mirror, that red, white, and blue, that's the if it hadn't been for the number 43, I could have been.
I appreciate Nathan coming out to Rockford today. Those are some complicated issues, and I appreciate him being honest and candid with us. At the same time, it makes me think about something someone said to me one time. Just because you don't understand something doesn't make it wrong. When it comes to LGBTQ issues and that community, I never really felt I was that close or had that community around me until I was well into my late 20s. But the reality is, they are all around us, and they're Tennesseans just like you and I. And as a state representative, that means I'm supposed to represent their interest as well. And something that I will never tolerate as a representative is hate. The Slate of Hate does not belong. And y'all means all where I come from. And as your state representative, I'll definitely represent everyone. Because love is not a sin. And one of my favorite books says the greatest thing is love.
And prayed the Lord my soul to keep, and that I'd see Peter when I die. And Lord, I hope you love dogs too. I think Jesus loves dogs too. As the years passed on, many dogs.
Well, folks, that's a wrap on this week's episode of Scrappy Time. I'd like to thank my good friend Nathan for showing up today, and he's going to stick around to watch the race at Talladega. They're about to drop the green flag, but we'll hope you'll hang out and see us next week, 8 o'clock, Thursday night.
Always seem too easy, still within, and you've been coming around a little more each day. Could you stop by tomorrow so we can play, and we'll start spinning, and we'll be grinning, 'cause this love we have, it feels so good it can't be bad. Well, my mornings suck, lately they've all been